for mentoring, for internships, for the simple process of learning and creating dialogue do each of you have for a younger audience to bring up? Gerard? Let's wait till we get your microphone, Gerard. Gerard McClendon?
I want to preface this by saying that I talked with Debbie Thompson earlier this week. You talk about engaging young people. This is a 4-week summer camp that is at Gentech. They have young people, middle schoolers and high schoolers, create apps for smartphones and tablets right here in the city. Majority African American children. This is Digital Media and Technology Center in Chicago. It's a cooperative of millennials, young people. The technology, coding, the writing can be facilitated by students at Gentech. Any organizations on this panel, anyone in the audience who wants to develop an app, you don't necessarily have to go to an overpriced downtown app maker. You can get your app for your business or for yourself done by Gentech right here in the neighborhood by Black people. This can also be a way for content and creative development. It's a collaboration with local news sources, and it's right here. We just have to galvanize the forces. If 47-year-old Gerard McClendon can't create an app, I'm going to find someone half my age or 1/3 my age to create the app, because they'll be able to do it in 1/3 the time. So everyone, please, if you get a chance, I'll have these flyers later with Gentech. They're all on the cutting edge.
Earlier today, and this morning, you had Senator Carol Murphy Brown and Senator Burns. And since Reconstruction, the last 3 U.S. senators that were black came out of Chicago, including my brother. And so when you look around, and I heard Gerard say that Oprah Winfrey was here in Chicago. We got Ebony Jet here. We got the headquarters of the Nation of Islam here. We got the headquarters of Operation Push here. We have more black millionaires in Chicago than any other part of the country. We have the largest county in the country here. And when you look at all the things that take place in Chicago, and you look at our young people who don't have anything at this point. I work with young people every day. I have 40 people, young people that work after school. And I do the auditorium seating project in Chicago Public Schools. I was idle for 3 years because I had to fight to get back in there, to let young people get opportunities for jobs. We teach them carpentry, we teach them flooring, we teach them drywall, we teach them painting, we teach them welding. And so with that, what I want to say is that the charter school systems and the systems across America are telling us today that black children will take 6 years to get out of college. We don't have 6 years to send our kids to college. We have to have something immediate for them right now. Brother Robert talked about it, and that if we can teach these young people a trade, there are 100,000 vacant houses in Chicago. They're owned by Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Tavis Snowden got $4.5 million from Wells Fargo, and 37,400 black people lost their houses because of him. We don't talk about that. We have an extreme black adult problem in black America. And our young people are looking at us, and we can't save them based on the things that are happening in Chicago. And think what the rest of the country is going through. If all of this stuff is in Chicago, and we can't fix it, then imagine what the rest of the country is. So goes Chicago, so goes the country. They've said that this is the largest school closure in the history of America, right here in Chicago. And we ain't said nothing about nothing. And our kids, they say our kids live in some kind of, like we in Afghanistan or Iraq, we have to create
Can we get John to the microphone?
Turn it around. What's to do with youth report? If each
Can
church,
we turn Robert's mic up a little louder, please, in the house?
if each church would decide to hire one youth for the summer, that should create over 1,000 jobs. District takes it. If we would make demands that the banks turn over to a black trust, a land trust, for all these vacant buildings that's in our community, you would create thousands of jobs. Each one of these buildings have to be maintained, the grass has to be cut, the material has to be boarded up. If you don't own banks in your community, it's hard to create a job. We are losing banks left and right in this community. Only talking about right now, banks.
What time is money? So y'all really want to know what's going on? I'll tell you. Now if y'all want to know, now that's the reason why I came up with it. You want to know?
We will let next time, we will allow everyone an opportunity to speak if they will speak from the floor, if they will engage in the rules that have been established. This is not a law. This is a brain trust, and your opinion matters as much as anybody else. But we gotta do it in an orderly fashion. Robert?
Thank you. There's a land grab going on in our community. These lots, these vacant lots, are going to be sold to white developers for pennies on the dollar. These vacant buildings, anytime you see a vacant building, I am a builder. Listen to me carefully. Anytime you see a vacant building, it's worth at least $65,000. When you add the cost of the lot, the cost of a foundation, the cost of the walls alone, you will spend $65,000. We need to capture these lots. I'm a veteran. There is no need for veterans to go and serve all over this world and come back and be homeless. With all these vacant buildings, we should demand that we get the buildings, we do the work, and house our veterans. And at the same time, training programs can be tied to Chicago State, can be tied to Dawson Technical School, South Suburban, and Triton, so that folks can get social degrees in construction management and get themselves a real job in construction. Thank you.
Well, I was going to say, as we're moving forward and we're coming up, we have a lot of great ideas and they're really big and people get excited. But the truth of the matter is every individual in this room right now today can go to a mentor and grab a view and take it to the next level. The gentleman that came up will have an opportunity to speak on the floor because his order, we got to do things decent and in order. So we said, what do we do next? The next thing we do, I'm an international grant writer. We're talking about apps out there. The Apple Foundation has an app right now, funding out right now for $10,000 just to submit a grant. You can get $10,000 that can fund our summer program. How many people here can use $10,000 to orchestrate your program? To put it in place. So how do we do that? I mentor and teach you how to write grants and how to write proposals so that they can take that program right there that the brother just spoke about and get some funding for it. You want some jobs? Go create your jobs. We have to create some independence. We have to create, when we talk about economic empowerment in the community, we talk about business development. We're so quick to sign the back of the check. Teach our people to sign the front of the check, write the check. Become your own employer. Become independent. Become independent of a system working for someone else. Does that make sense? Well, let's move forward.
Jonathan, I was coming.
I guess I'm going for something different. I'm probably the most person up there.
like to take the conversation back to something that everybody can do. So we can talk about what the banks can do, we can talk about what other organizations can do. I'll take this gym check right here because I got quoted $100,000 for the app. I'm not paying that, so I'll call them next week. But I want to take it back to something we all can do. Because we all as a community, and I've done it, complain about the problems about what they are doing, what they are doing, what they are doing. But the biggest criminal act we have in our community is where we choose to spend our dollars. If we spend our dollars in our community, and again, let me go back. I'm not saying you got to spend every dollar on a black person. But if our dollar actually spent more time in our community than it does today, which is 6 seconds almost, if it spent more time, we wouldn't be having this conversation. For the question about jobs, I have no problem hiring ex-offenders. In fact, I've done it on numerous occasions. When people come and talk to me, I want to hear about the story. Go to Target. What are they going to say when you check the box? No. Go to Walmart when you check the box? No. These answers to these problems can be solved in a great way if we just make individual choices about where to spend our dollars. You drive a Ford, we got a Ford dealership, Sutton Ford, way out in the south suburbs. You can choose, at least let's take a look at them. There are businesses all around it. Unfortunately, the days have gone by. I was raised in a generation where my father's contemporaries were Ernest Collins and Seaway Bank, Jacoby Dickens, whose building is named next door, Al Johnson Cadillac. You had George Johnson. You had a lot of folks that were coming up that knew about black business in our community. If I think back, we had to spend our dollars in our community back then, and our community was a whole lot better than it is today. Action items that everybody can do. If you made a choice to think about where you're going to spend your dollar, I would encourage everyone to go look at John and Maggie Anderson's book. It's called Our Black Year. This couple, Harvard educated, Yale educated, spent $100 million for an entire year in the black community and wrote a book about it. I encourage everybody to read it. If we make the choice to spend our dollars, $1, $10, $5, $15, $100 a month in our community, we wouldn't need to have this conversation. Why? Because we'd be able to fund the issues and initiatives that we want to have from our own pockets. My father says this, and I'll leave you with this. He used to tell me all the time, son, you can't be philanthropic from a weak economic base. You can never be philanthropic. You can't do the things I want to do with hiring and kids, and all the things I have my heart want to do if you've been doing it from a weak economic base. The problem is that we're trying to go do philanthropic things from a weak economic base, and we be giving every to it.
Ralph Moore. Can we microphone for Ralph Moore?
Hello? Sorry. Okay. But interesting, telling my age, I worked with his father over 35 years ago. So this is before he moved south. But understand, his father, obviously, was the same deal. Let's work with black folks. One of the things that we have to do as black consumers, I was in Catchment, I just work with black companies. Sometimes you find yourself in white establishments. I was in the restaurant Catch 35 downtown. Half of the people in the restaurant at the table were black. There was not one black person working there. I called the manager over and said, well, tell me, do you have any black people working here? He thought, he looked like, you would have thought I had turned the table over. He was in a panic. Like, well, we do have black people. But think about it. Most people don't even ask that question. I came back about 3 weeks later, I was in the restaurant, and they had a black manager at the front. I said, oh, I'm so glad to see you. He said, I asked the question. He said, oh, you're the guy who asked the question. I heard about you because they were upset. They were really concerned that something bad was going to happen. We have to stop. We got to stop apologizing for everybody else having these jobs. So the last 30 years, I've purchased my automobiles from either a black dealer or a black salesman and a white dealer. So understand how not every case you can do business with a black company for whatever. Like I just bought a Cadillac, and the closest black-owned dealer since Al Johnson's gone is in Houston. I couldn't get to Houston, but I went to a dealership who didn't have a black salesman on the floor. I asked the question, I want to buy a car, but I'm not going to buy it unless you have a black salesman.
Yes.
Understand what they had. They had a black consultant who worked with people like me. And he wasn't a full-time salesman. I bought the car from the black consultant. He called me later. They made him a salesman because he sold me a car. Okay? You got money to spend it with black people and influence, use your money for influence. So I want to leave you this last point. My daughter, who's 27, she's in business, she's working in Washington, D.C. We grew up talking about business. All of you have children. We used to go to the drive-thru at McDonald's. I said, well, how many businesses do you see here? He said, I see one. I said, no. This is McDonald's. You see McDonald's, but there's a meat company, there's a construction company that built it, there's a paper company, there's a produce company, there's a painting company. Again, we gotta start talking business so we won't sit here 30 years from now having the same conversation. You are responsible for raising the next generation of black business owners. So go home and start talking business.
Well, thanks very much. We were supposed to go to the top of the hour, but we are trying to make up for the time we lost earlier due to audio problems. So I just want to offer some closing thoughts to each of you in the audience, and that is to reaffirm, re-emphasize what our panel has said. These are the folks who come back to you and give you a report card on our progress, but progress resides in you. I love Ralph's story about not spending money where he doesn't get what he wants. When you buy a car, you are the job creator. You are the person that is supporting or not supporting black business. We have an economy among black households, just households, not businesses, of $28 billion in Chicago. $28 billion every week. All black folks, regardless of where they put their church and religious contributions, put over $5 million in the plate every single week. What are we getting back for those dollars? Yes, we're supporting our institutions. Who are our institutions supporting? I want to strongly recommend that you start to re-examine that. At TargetMarketNews.com, we publish a report every year on where the money goes. It's called The Buying Power of Black America. We have information posted there on how much we've spent on literally everything. I encourage you to go there. You don't have to register to do so. But it is time for us to think more strategically as consumers. The only ones who are not represented here individually are individual consumers. I'm going to take one or two more comments from our panel, and then we will be wrapping up. But remember your role. You have a favorite product. You have a favorite food. What do you get back for the money you give to the company that provides that product? Mike, will you do my comment?
Thanks, Ken. I just want to say that we as black media, one of our problems, we have to stop being afraid to point out these people and these corporations that are not supporting our community. Good example, Toyota, the largest purchaser. We buy more Toyotas than we buy Chevrolets, Cadillacs, and everything else that's out there. And they don't support our community. We as black media must let our community know who these people are that don't support our community. That's one of our rules. We can't be afraid to speak out just in anticipation of getting an advertisement or getting something else. We still have to speak truth to power. Let our community know who these culprits are. And they will come to the table when we point them out. We put a front page or a story on the cover of the Defender saying, Toyota disrespects the black community. I went down to WBON and got on the radio and said, we were getting ready to point out that fact to them, and they called us up and said, please don't say that, we're going to come to the table. But we have to stay true to our community, let them know who these people are, and then they'll support.
And I want to add to that, Harold, forgive me because they want me to wrap up. Show of hands of everyone who has an email address. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Black Media. Use your voice, use your platform. Please give our guests a nice round of applause.